for like Mad Lions and stuff, when they play like Galio and then they have this like Senna Wukong, it like there's a lot of synergy and how they want to play, you know. So it really depends on the fit, but for sure we have like deep enough champ pools to like maintain our style, you know. So it's not something that we're like concerned about here at all.
Hi everyone, this is Tom reporting from the LEC, and with me here is Fredy, the coach of Rogue. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Yeah, you guys just won another match, maybe not as dominantly as some of the other matches you guys have played, but still a pretty comfortable victory against Misfits. Did you expect to win against Misfits heading into this, or did you think it was going to be as tough as it may have looked in the beginning?
I think versus Misfits in particular, I think we're always quite confident. We seem to have like pretty decent results versus them. And Misfits is a team that seems to do really well versus some teams and versus other teams not so well. And so we're one of the teams that I think just has a bit of an edge on them. So we weren't like cocky about the win or anything, but we were confident, it's fair to say.
Yeah, confident heading into it. The main topic I want to touch on in this interview is actually talking about how other teams seem to completely underestimate Rogue so far. We've heard it on the broadcast, we've heard it in other interviews so far. People are saying, yeah, you know, Rogue might be 9-2, now 10-2, but we think it's just the meta that fits them well. And I just want to dive into that perspective with you. And do you think that this meta is the perfect meta for Rogue?
It's yeah, I mean the meta is one part of our performance this split, right? It's for sure it benefits us a lot. Everyone is kind of on the group of champions that they like playing. So I kind of understand this sentiment that comes from the other teams. But at the same time, we've also made like a lot of changes from Spring Split that have really like boosted our efficiency in practice, I would say. And those are like the kind of changes that people won't see. Like people not in the team will only see that we're still kind of playing a bit slow, right? We're still picking like, and the meta fits us. But really the bigger difference for us this split is kind of these changes that we've made to like improve efficiency and a couple other things outside of the game that have helped. So
yeah, so is it then unjustified that these other players are underestimating you? Again, the results speak in your favor. But on the other hand, you know, they are far more analytical about the game than I am, and they know a bunch more in depth, and they are on that same level as you are. So in what regards do you agree with those teams, or do you just completely disagree with it?
I mean, to be honest, I disagree with it, because I think we're just playing so consistently well at a good level every game. We found like the style that works for us. So at least right now, for sure, we are like one of the best teams, you know. And I still feel like we have to prove ourselves in the upcoming weeks. We have to play the good teams again. We have G2 tomorrow. We'll see how that goes, and we still have to play Mad Lions again. But of course, then we have all the best of fives in playoffs. So I think that we're really good. Obviously, we still have a little bit to prove when it comes to like playoffs, and if the meta shifts a bit. So we will see in the upcoming weeks. But yeah, I mean, I think people underrate us a bit.
Yeah, and why is that then? Is it just that, you know, sometimes people do it because they legitimately think it, but other times you see those other teams struggling. Why do you think that people keep underestimating or underselling and not acknowledging Rogue's performance?
I'm not sure, really. I think there is this kind of narrative that we are not an explosive team, so we won't be able to compete with like international level and stuff at Worlds when teams are more explosive. But I don't really see it like that at all. It's just like our style. So I think it's a bit of like narrative from maybe casters and other people that don't understand like the changes we made and why we're winning. So yeah,
so let's talk a bit more about that change then, because that behind the scenes, if that plays such a big role. You said, you know, we internally made changes that allow us to step up now that we need to. And I've said it before in interviews with your players as well. In the spring split, you guys were a bit on and off. One game you would look incredibly coherent, as it, like you're playing now, and then the next game it would all crumble and it would you would be nowhere to be found. So,
Yeah.
what have you done? What has Rogue done to glue these pieces together and make it consistently work well?
I think we've really changed our approach to practice in a bit. We had a big meeting at the start of the split, like, okay, what can we change? What went wrong? What can go better? Especially in terms of our practice. And we kind of came to the conclusion that we were maybe practicing too many variations of stuff. So maybe too much champions and too many different styles. And that honestly, what we should do is make our practice as efficient as possible by kind of narrowing that down decently, not to the point where we can get like abused in draft or anything, but just so our every champion that we are playing in scrims, we are often like pulling out on stage like that week. So it's very efficient. Whereas kind of in spring split, we played a lot of champions, but we didn't like pull them out. You know, we didn't have the scenarios. So for me, from my perspective, from the coaching side, I think that's like really huge change. Yeah.
So it's more efficient practicing. That's mostly just
exactly.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense that then, you know, if you have a direct goal you're working towards, which are these champions that you're gonna pick. But do you think that maybe also leaves a vulnerable side? Because, for example, you know, let's say Larson, who's been a big carry for you guys this split so far, if those champions get banned or something, you know, you have to pivot and maybe you don't have as much practice on those champions, or do you have enough variety in your scrims to be able to adapt?
Yeah, so we're kind of well aware of the scenarios that might happen in draft and how far deep our champion pools might actually have to go. So we do practice like further down the champion pool so that in the event of like if Larson's champions get banned out, then we're ready for it, right? And like today we pulled out like the TF. We've been practicing it for like a couple of weeks, and we knew that we would have to play it at some point. And like, yeah, so we got a lot of practice on it. And yeah, I think this is all about us being prepared as well, what scenarios might happen. And we look at it at the start of the week and, okay, they might ban out this, and this. So we should put some time into this week.
Right. Now, the champion pool is the next topic I wanna touch on, because that is something that comes up a lot when people compare Rogue to Mad Lions, the other team that's doing very well. They, you know, some of the things you read are like, oh yeah, you know, but Kaiser, for example, can play Wukong and Pantheon on the highest level, and then while Humanoid is also good on something like Orianna, he can also be very impactful in Galio. It's just the whole spectrum of that roster that everybody talks about, that their champion pool is very deep. How deep is the champion pool of your players? Do you think that they would also be able to perform well on as many champions?
I think so, but with differences. So stuff that works for Mad Lions obviously might not work for us. Like they have a lot of these more diverse support picks, right? And it doesn't synergize with like the other champions that we want to play. It's a bit like a puzzle. We have to like piece together the players' champ pools to make something that works, right? And for like Mad Lions and stuff, when they play like Galio and then they have this like Senna Wukong, it like there's a lot of synergy and how they want to play, you know? So it really depends on the fit, but for sure we have like deep enough champ pools to like maintain our style, you know? So it's not something that we're like concerned about here at all.
Right, so it's you would say that the champion pool is perhaps as deep, it's just different champions that you can
Yeah,
flex to.
exactly.
And is that generally more champions that fit the slower playstyle of Rogue, whereas Mad Lions has a comparatively explosive playstyle?
Is there more champions that fit? Sorry?
No, would you say that the champions that are in your pool lean more towards that style?
Yeah, the slower style. It's not a secret at this point, right? It's just kind of how we prefer to play. It's how the players kind of see the game and prefer to play. So that's kind of what we have, you know. That's how we have to play the game. And for Mad Lions, it's a different story, right?
Yeah, a title that has been given to you sometimes is Origin Light. Do you agree with that?
No, I mean, I can see why people have said that in the past, but obviously I think there are quite a few differences. But I mean, we're for sure they're the most similar team to us in the league, right? And yeah, I mean, Origin Light is not something we like being called for sure, you know.
No, you want to have your own identity, I suppose. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
all right, man. I want to thank you very much for your time, and obviously, good luck in the rest of the split as well.
Thank you.